Hey guys, we're back. It's been a while, but we're back. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to do it again, or did I? Well, we bought another car. So, as I jump into it, welcome back. Now, you may say, Tim, why have you bought another car? You've got plenty to be getting on with up the barn. And do you know what? That's a fair point. Now, it's been really cold and we made some progress with the T5. So the turbo is actually back on, but it did involve taking the whole front end apart for a whole host of other reasons. Now, we've got to put the new injectors in. We took them out, got some reconditioned injectors because it had a misfire. Now, is that going to fix it? I hope so. But those T5s, when they start to get misfires, it can mean that actually the cam itself is worn. So we'll pop it back together and see what it looks like. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means I haven't got a daily at the moment. So Mrs. Barn driving the Ibiza, and that's been broken. It's meant that I haven't really had anything to drive other than my Jetta coupe. Now, as you know, I don't like driving my Jetta coupe in the winter, and it turns out for good reason, because just this week it has left me stranded, not once, but twice. So what that means is that I need a daily to get about in. I've been a lot busier at work and I have to go into the office twice a week, and it's a 110-mile round trip. So I need something that's going to eat up those miles, that's going to cost pennies to run. And so this made the obvious choice. Now, what is it, you might ask? Well, funny thing, it's a Mark II and it's a diesel. That's right. I've gone and bought myself a Jetta turbo diesel. Not just a turbo diesel, it's the intercooled turbo diesel. And look, here it is. So it's a 1990 1.6 turbo diesel with an intercooler. It's got a rev counter and it's got lots of cool bits on it as well. Taking a look at it, should I have bought it? Probably not. Did it need work? Yes. Was it cheap? Yeah, I think so. So let's take a look and see what exactly it is that I've bought. We've got. Now, the first thing you'll notice, this thing is absolutely filthy. That's right, it's been off the road for a good few years, but we've done just enough to get it through an MOT. And to be fair, it didn't need a lot. Now, this is a 1990, so it's a big bumper. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Now, this Jetta didn't start life as a black Jetta. No, in fact, it was blue originally, and at some point in the last probably 5 to 7 years, I think, looking back at the history, someone decided to paint it black. So it's not a bad job, it needs a bit of tidying up, and maybe we'll have a look at that. But generally speaking, the bodywork is pretty clean. So I think maybe just a bit of a polish and we should be okay. Now, Martin has already gone through and done all of the rust on this before I got it, which is great. So I know it's solid, but we've got this to contend with. There's no sort of rubber sort of boot in there to stop all this floating through. Now all this has been repaired, treated, but you can see the paintwork is all flat and it's not particularly great. So that may polish up. It's all up here as well. So that may polish up. We may have to paint it. I don't know. But looking around at it, it's quite a straight car. It's got this Hella spoiler on the back, which I've been told is quite rare. We've got a set of BBS Mark III 3.5 convertible wheels on it for now. It's got electric mirrors, which is kind of cool. And it's got one of these on here as well. I don't know if it suits this particular car, maybe with the spoiler, but it's kind of cool. And yeah, it's filthy. Now, under the bonnet, it's a 90s diesel. It's not pretty, it's a bit dirty, and yeah, there's all sorts of weird mismatch of bits on here, but let me show you what I mean. So looking, notice that this is a bright green hose. That shouldn't be there. That's just on there for a temporary measure, just to get the car mobile. It split a couple of days ago as I was driving it home, and yeah, basically I had to put this pipe on here to get the car mobile. I've got some proper stuff coming, but Martin from Grey Goose Restorations sorted me out with that pipe just to get me home. So big shout out to Martin, thank you for that, mate. We've got all of the intercooler plastics, which is pretty rare. It's had
the boost turned up. It's got a bleed valve and it's had some adjustment. But other than that, it's all been gone through. It's already had a cam belt, water pump, belts, new fuel filter.
Generally speaking, it's a really well sorted Mark II. There are a couple of bits wrong with it that I've had to sort out. I guess first things first, some of the bulbs weren't working, just real simple stuff. The heater wasn't working along with the wipers. That turned out to be just a relay. Change that and it's good to go. Then the other thing, which was probably one of the biggest pains in the neck, was this.
So as you can see down here, this caliper is a different color to the carrier here. Now, this was binding, so all the brakes are brand new on here, but that was binding. So I've had to replace that caliper, bleed it out, and it's good to go.
And of course, the biggest pain in my ass was this thing just wouldn't start. It's weird, I could stop and just go to start it again and it wouldn't fire up. So that was annoying. Now, I've changed the battery. This, even though it looks really good and pretty recent, but still, I've changed that and I've put a newer, bigger battery on, more cranking capacity, just more capacity full stop. So hopefully that should not leave me stranded on the top of this cold hill and it's about to rain. So I probably don't want to be here for too long.
Now looking here, you can see where the car used to be blue. I'm not a massive fan of this blue. It's okay, but I think black's a lot nicer.
Now, I was thinking, do I repaint this car? Do I actually go back to the standard factory blue? Or do I keep it black and just kind of tidy it up around that filler cap and some other bits and pieces? I'm not overly sure, but getting into it, it's just kind of familiar. It's kind of nice. It's a Mark II inside. It's got all the usual refinements you'd expect. Plus, you can see down here, we've got electric mirrors. We've got a rev counter, which is quite nice for a diesel. And we've got the customary sagging headliners. We're gonna have to get that changed. I've actually tracked down some replacements. So yeah, coming soon, we'll be swapping this headliner out and this should all be nice inside. Other than a good clean, it's pretty much all there. It's even got a set of rubber mats. It's got 107,000 miles and I've gone through the history and that's about right. I've got the service history, looked through the MOT history, it's all there that would suggest that these miles are legit. This is generally a low mileage Mark II. It's had the welding done, there's no rust underneath, it runs nicely. So what do I do with it? Do I just keep it and smoke it around as a daily? Do I give it a little bit of a tidy up and just sell it on to give me some more money to pay for the rest of the projects and get those done? So bearing in mind the T5 is going to be back on the road soon, so am I going to need this as a daily? The sun's going to be out soon, it's not going to be horrible. I'll have sorted out the running issues with my Jetta coupe, so again, will I go back to daily on my coupe in the summer? I'm not sure. What would you do, guys? Let me know down in the comments. Is this a keeper or is it one that I should just tidy up and sell on to pay for the rest of my projects? I don't know, but look, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you ever so much for the guys who have stuck with us. If you're here for T5 videos, obviously there's going to be more. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you haven't already, like the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, press the subscribe button down below. It helps us out massively. And look, we'll be back. It's warmer, it's not cold in the barn, and it was really cold over the winter. So we're back, we've got some new cars to play with. We've still got the old favorites to get finished off. We've got the Tiguan, we've got the T5, we've got the press car, big update on the press car as well. So there's some huge news coming for that, and I cannot wait to get that thing back on the road. So that thing should be sorted by the start of the summer. Then all it's going to need is paint, and it's going to be good to go. So look, guys, with that in mind, thank you ever so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.